All right. Well, Europe better get ready for a massive amount of gun violence thanks to the war in Ukraine. According to a new report, and this story really pisses me off because we shipped hundreds of billions of dollars in weapons to Ukraine. Missiles, rifles, drones, explosives, handed over like candy on Halloween. And now guess what? Surprise, those same weapons are flooding into Europe's black markets as we speak.
And recall when Senator Paul asked for an accounting of these weapons, Congress shot him down and said, we're actually not that interested during the Biden administration. So any efforts to count and track, nope. Even though we've had reports of these weapons going missing since the beginning of the conflict. Reports from CBS News saying that these weapons are being shipped and people are pulling up in their hatchback. Civilians, just put it in there. All good.
Well, we've already explained how those same weapons are now in the hands of Mexican cartels and ISIS. But now this new report out today shows Europe is the next chaos zone set to receive these Ukrainian weapons. According to a brand new report from the Eurasia Observatory, Europe is about to be awash in American-made weapons. And not just a few crates here and there. We're talking full-blown military-grade hardware showing up in the hands of gangsters, terrorists, organized crime syndicates all over the European continent. Gee, who could have seen this coming? Oh, right, we did. When we reported on this 2 years ago about those weapons already flowing into Africa. 2 years ago, we repeatedly talked about this while every corporate news anchor was crying, on cue for more money going into Ukraine. They need help over there. Hey, maybe track the weapons you're dumping into the most corrupt country in Europe. How about that? That's not going to end well. Heck, even CBS News ran their report nearly 2.5 years ago saying that most of the weapons going into Ukraine were untraceable. And then, of course, CBS News removed that video, buried that story because it ran counter to the narrative that the liberal media was putting out at the time. And if you called it out, you were called a Russian propagandist. This is Russian talking points. Oh, really? Now the chickens have come home to roost. The EU is quietly panicking now because, according to the experts, when that war machine finally winds down, and as Colonel McGregor just talked about, it will, this is going to be problematic for Europe. These former Ukrainian soldiers will now know how to use all of these American weapons. They're trained in sabotage. They're trained in drone warfare. They're trained in cyber attacks, you name it. And the real worry is they'll be able to carry out these criminal gang warfare all across Europe. Half this stuff was handed off to volunteer brigades, which is at the heart of this report, volunteers, with no accountability whatsoever. The other half probably went straight out the back door into the hands of arms traffickers. Europol, which is Europe's own police agency, has already admitted that black market weapons from Ukraine have already turned up in Sweden, Finland, Spain, and others. That's not speculation. That's not rumor. That has been confirmed. And police have confirmed a rise in Ukrainian gang activity all across Europe. The criminal networks are very excited about this for these weapons to flow in. They're drooling about it, in fact. A new supply chain of high-end American weapons. Job well done, NATO. Way to use American tax dollars so we can see a surge in violence and crime across Europe because it's coming.
Of course, debt just doesn't show up one day. It builds up little by little. Credit cards, car loans, school loans, medical bills, and suddenly you're juggling all these payments feeling stuck. But here's good news for you. You're not stuck. You can get a reset by leveraging your assets, and American Financing can teach you to do this. Now, again, this is something that wealthy people do all the time with no qualms at all, but we are not taught this. We're not given a real financial education in American education. That's why they'll help you do this. They're saving homeowners an average of $800 a month. No judgment, no pressure, just real solutions that put you back in control. You stop digging yourself in the red and start building wealth for your family. It only takes 10 minutes to get started. You'll get all the information that you need, and then it will be on you to sit down and learn it and decide if this is a good option for your family. And again, the way that wealthy people work is they take Each financial product, they study it and they evaluate if that works for their family. So you need to be setting aside time to learn things like this in order to build wealth. And American Financing can help you. So get that monkey of debt off your back. Go to americanfinancing.net/redacted or call them at 866-890-8434. Again, that's americanfinancing.net/redacted or call them at 866-890-8434 and do it today. Well, even the liberal media is feeling a bit hoodwinked by President Biden's cancer diagnosis and his recent announcement. Now, if you missed it over the weekend, he said that he suddenly has a stage 4 prostate cancer that has moved into his bones, and the prognosis, the diagnosis is grim. Now, MSNBC had a specialist on today who said that by no means could this cancer be sudden if it is in fact this advanced.
You're an oncologist, obviously incredibly respected. You believe that it is likely, just for those just tuning in, you believe it is likely if this prostate cancer has spread to the bone that he could have had it for up to a decade, but certainly it's likely. Would it be fair to say it's likely to have had this for at least several years?
Oh, more than several years. You don't get prostate cancer.
So I just want to stop you. So this is not speculation. If you have prostate cancer that is spread to the bone, then he's most certainly, you are saying, had it when he was president of the United States.
Oh, yeah. He did not develop it in the last 100, 200 days. He had it while he was president. He probably had it at the start of his presidency in 2021. Yes, that I don't think there's any disagreement about that.
Okay. Now, here is something. So you would wonder, okay, what do we know about his medical history then? Well, it turns out we've known this since 2008, that he had a pre-existing prostate condition. And the way that they have reported his health, this is no surprise to anybody, has been incredibly inconsistent. Now, let's just back up a little so that we cannot pretend that we are surprised. In 2008, the Obama-Biden president campaign released 49 pages of Joe Biden's medical records, but only to the media. We never got to see it. So we just had to trust that these news outlets told us the truth. So let's go with what we know. Now, here, according to Politico, look at the date on this. 2008 is what we knew then, that he had near fatal aneurysms in 1988, that he had arterial fibrillation in 2006. He had his gallbladder removed in 2003. Again, some other surgeries in 2006. And again, he had sleep apnea and also a pulmonary function report. We were also at the time told that he was on prostate medication for an enlarged prostate. This was clarified in 2019 as a condition called benign prostatic hyperplasia. It was in 2019 that we were told that he also had several non-cancerous elements removed in 2008, but we were not told that during that first campaign, including something removed that they found during a routine colonoscopy, and then several non-melanoma skin cancers removed. So this is quite a laundry list of health concerns. When you write them all out, it seems crazy how Democrats insisted that this guy was all A-OK and fine enough to stand election. Even so, it's clear from what we know, and again, we can't see the original documents. We have to trust what the media reported, but at least since 2008, we know that his prostate was enlarged and has been treated. So did he go a couple years and say, just don't look at the prostate this time? I don't want to see it. I don't want to know what's in there. I think I'm all good. I don't need to see it. Is that a possibility? Did he skip his screenings? Because it would be highly irregular for a doctor to say, well, we know you have this prostate condition, but we don't think we need to keep screening it. It's probably A-OK. Or was he lying all along? And again, it's clear that this guy is often screened for several types of cancers, including rectal cancer, prostate cancer, and skin cancer. This has been happening for over 15 years. We know that for a fact. So how is this one missing? So again, either he skipped some screenings or they're lying. Now, here's one thing I can't seem to figure out, though, is if in fact he knew he had cancer, the kingmakers we talked about last week from the Jake Tapper book, we're talking about Obama, Schumer, Pelosi, who clearly said after Biden performed poorly in the debate against President Trump in 2024, they said, well, we got to pull him. We got to go with plan B. And they chose Kamala Harris. If they knew that he had cancer, they would surely have used that as an excuse to pull him. But they didn't. And instead, they went with the poorer optics of he's just too old. We're going to put Kamala Harris in. They would have used this clearly, which tells me that if the Bidens knew about it, Obama and his kingmaker camp did not, or else they would have used it, which tells me one more other thing important is that the Bidens don't trust them any more than we do. And you know who I'm talking about, the Obamas, the Pelosis, the Schumers of the world. None of them trust each other. Clearly, Clinton, none of it. So it doesn't add up. And it is in the public interest for us to know what they knew. We almost got, I mean, think about it. If he had won re-election and then was about to die from this, which experts are saying best case 20 months, then we would have had a President Kamala Harris, which is terrifying to think about. So we need to know what we were told, who knew what when. There are still, we are our own answers. Now, I mean, I've seen some comments like, he's not in office, just let him suffer with this, let him have some peace. But no, I mean, no, right?
No, of course not.
But no.
But
yeah.
no.